so we're recording. Let me take a sip of this.
Yes, sir.
Star Blast. Oh, motherfucker. Flipping.
Oh, yeah, I should be. All right, so I can see the...
So the screen's minimized.
Okay.
So it might look like you're out of frame or I'm out of frame because the screen's minimized and it's not
Expanded?
Expanded, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I could see the life pulse or whatever that's called.
Yeah. What's that one, man?
Hornitos?
Hornitos.
Yeah. I wanted to get some Terramana because I really do enjoy the Rocks tequila.
Yeah.
It's really smooth, but it's like $35 a bottle. I mean, which isn't too bad, honestly. But I mean,
What's
for 18, tequila.
No, but it's like 20 bottles, 25. This one?
Oh, this is 18. So I just roll with that.
Where do you get just any store?
Yeah, any store.
I remember.
That's crazy. You've never drank.
Never, dude. Like,
how did you manage to go through high school without the peer pressure?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
That's fucking this motherfucker sweating like a bitch. I fucking.
Well, it's nice and
right.
toasty in here.
Never mind. I was gonna get some towels or something. Fuck it.
To
dude.
wipe our face.
Yeah. There was a time I saw you in Mason.
Yeah. When
You
I was
worked at
working there?
Mason.
Yeah, I used to cook.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I saw you in the back kitchen, but I didn't know if it was you because I met you, ended up meeting you like a year or 2 year, whatever, right? Like we just met recently. So I'm like thinking, was that the same guy that worked at Mason? I was thinking about that like a few days back or a week back. And I think it is, man. Because there's not many people that fucking look like you, dude. So it's like, it's got to be him, dude. So you were cooked there with, what's his name, dude? Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey. Yeah.
Dude, Mason's got some legit food, bro.
Dude, it is so good. And it was like the best thing, like, because I had free range to everything. Like, so I was always eating, like, that's probably the one time in my life where I ate probably the cleanest.
Really?
Yeah, because I had access to Wagyu beef, chicken breast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these nice greens, and so like, man, I would just go to town.
So you would pay like their cost?
I wouldn't pay nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got it for free?
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about just one meal.
Yeah, well, one meal a shift.
Okay, that's what so I'm talking about like the rest of the meals.
Oh.
What would you eat?
Well, if it wasn't for not working there, I probably wouldn't go there to eat just because of how expensive it is. It's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It's
true,
pricey,
bro.
like for what they do.
Yeah, it is.
But you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
because it is quality.
For that reason, I like Rooster.
Yes.
Like I love fucking Rooster.
I love their fried chicken.
I never had it.
Oh, and they give
good?
you this nice little mango sauce to dip your chicken in. Oh,
okay, well, I'll have to try that now, bro.
Compared to like Roscoe's, that's honestly, and I was surprised, like at all places to find it here in the
You're
village.
gonna compare it to Roscoe's?
Yeah,
right
it
Shut the fuck
It was
up,
pretty
dude.
good. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty good. I got compared to Roscoe's.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Have you told Rooster that?
Well, I told Daryl. I don't know if you know who Daryl is, because Daryl owns, he's part hand in that, and Mason, and yeah, I told him right away when I started. I was like, man, I love that fried chicken.
That's what I mean when you said when I say, did you tell Rooster that? Like,
yeah,
the owners.
Yeah.
You told them that it was close to Roscoe's.
Oh no, I just told him it was amazing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't tell him about. I should have told him though.
Bro, if you did, he would have been like
ecstatic.
He probably would have blown it up more marketing.
You think so?
Oh, if he knows he has a dish that's like Roscoe's.
Yeah.
Everybody travels to go to
just
Roscoe's.
To try it, yeah.
I've never been there, but everybody, like people around the globe, bro, will go to Roscoe. Like they'll travel to Roscoe's, you know.
I mean, that's big. Like, what's the other like? It's like as famous as what's the pink hot dog place in LA?
Yeah, that's fucking.
I haven't had that, but like, yeah, people come from fucking far and wide to try that shit.
Oh, you called me, bro. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. I just wanted to make sure. And then your neighbor's like, yeah, that's Justin's. And then she starts saying some shit like, I should be on Love Island.
What'd she say?
She's like, you should be on Love Island.
She said that to you?
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
She was like, I'm sorry.
She's probably. Well, I would say she's trying to mac, but I don't think she's straight. Well,
she told me I was fine, so.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry. She's like, you're still fine though. And I was like,
okay, so it must have been the one that looks like a woman. Because there's one that looks like kind of like a dude.
No, all three of these girls look like women.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe they're the neighbor's friends?
Okay, maybe. Maybe.
And then one of the friends was, she's like, I'm sorry. I was like, nah, that's cool. Like,
what do you mean? Why would you say sorry? Yeah. That's a huge compliment.
I fucking love Love Island.
No, it's a compliment. You said I'm fucking fine. That's what I want. That's what I want to hear.
Thank you. Appreciate that,
man. Yeah, man. Are you kidding me? Don't hide against it. Now, if it were a woman getting told, I'm fine, they hear that shit all day, every day.
Yeah,
There's no point to even telling them, dude. Yeah. And this is like, how do you even introduce yourself if you're not going to introduce yourself with, look, you're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just had to come up and tell you that. Like, they're not going to think that's just genuine. Like, nothing, man. And you don't want to tell them your name because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of the social dichotomy with women, because they love attention. But when you give them attention and you don't have any, like, they don't have any investment in you, they think you're a creep.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, what you introduce with is the stark opposite. Well, then it's the stark opposite of what you end up what you end up becoming in the relationship. Because what they want is the guy that there's mystery to, has a hard, stoic edge to him, and doesn't seem to be moved.
Right.
Or penetrated, right? They want that. They don't want the fucking emotion. They'll tell you they want the emotional fucking cry on the shoulder kind of guy.
When
bullshit.
You give them that, it turns them off.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly. So they don't want that, dude. They don't want that. So anytime, like, for example, in the gym today, I wanted to talk about this. Not even on camera. Like we're on camera right now. Fuck, it doesn't matter. I'm not on mic. Like, not recording on mic. We're not recording it. There are bitches in there. Like today. Youngins, right?
Yeah.
But I think to myself, like, you're gonna waste your fucking life if you don't look for a man now. And these kids that you're with, they're not gonna be anything to you 2 years, 3 years from now.
Oh yeah.
But you're guys like you and I, we'll look at women like that and be like, that is ripe for the picking.
Right.
Or maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, it's ripe for the picking. But you're going to waste your fucking time, probably get knocked up by this guy or a guy like him.
Right.
And then you're gonna be fucking throwing your life away, dude.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be jaded towards guys, etc. Like, because this guy doesn't do what you want him to do.
Right.
Because he's not mature yet. Because you're fucking with a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, men don't know what the fuck they want until they're like 30s.
Dude, I still don't know what the fuck I want. Oh well, no, actually, no, that's wrong. I do know kind of what I want, and we could go into. I'll save that.
Yeah. How old are you?
34.
Dude, yeah, you know what you want.
Yeah,
dude.
I know what I want now.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you can say. You can.
But at the young dumb me in my mid-20s, didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
Just a squirrel trying to get a nut.
You just fucking, dude. That's it. That's all you're doing. And that's all these guys are doing, and I understand it. But it's like, I'm now in the seat of, I look at the woman, I'm like, don't waste yourself. Because guys that are higher value or on the way to being higher value, they look for women like you.
To prey on.
That are fucking pure or sort of pure, don't have any kind of
life experience.
Yeah, because we don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
We want you to be under our wing. You help us. You support us. And then we give you a family. We give you protection, provision, etc. Like, that's how it should be, right? Well, the guys that you're fucking with, they're not gonna give you that right now because they're still in college like you.
Yeah.
But it's like, I just wish they would look at guys differently at this age, because this is the age right now where they would be the most in the best spot to be choosy of the guys. Even the guys that are fucking high earners.
Right. Because
high earners don't care about what a woman makes.
Yeah, no.
They don't care.
Because they got enough money to fucking buy the world and shit.
Do their own shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we might need towels, man. I'm fucking dripping over here.
Okay.
I feel like I just got done jump roping.
Let me get you one. I got one up there. I'm dripping. And not in gold.
I know, right? Yes, sir. Did you go to school, Mikey? Or you just know him from Mason?
He went to AG, right?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
AG was so fucking huge that I don't remember who really went, who didn't go.
Right.
Okay. So, we'll just go on. We're good.
We're good?
And,
okay.
What I'll do is I'll introduce, like
do we
I
need,
do all the podcasts. No headphones.
Okay.
I'll introduce the podcast, obviously, like I always do, and then, the intro will be all the same. You've heard it times before. So, and then I'll bring you on, and then, or I'll welcome you on, and then I'm going to ask, obviously, kind of just give people a rundown of really who you are, man. Okay. And then we're going to go into, this is the only thing that's really scripted or outlined, is what I tell people before going on, just so they have kind of a heads up. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to go into just regular dialogue, like if we're at the gym, man.
Gotcha.
One more glass. It's Quintero, right?
Yeah. Or if you want to say it the proper way, it's Quintero.
Quintero.
Love it. Put a little spice on it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and one thing about the mic. So.
Was it fist away?
Yep, you got it, man. You got it. You already know, bro.
No, all the Rogan podcasts.
Oh, and then if I do this, it's just to remind you.
Bring it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just talk in the mic.
Can I?
Okay. So we'll be quiet for this part when I go in and introduce, because if not, the audio will pick up everything.
Wait, before you start, can I, is it this, like this?
Yep.
Oh, it's already up. Okay, never mind. Yep. All right, I got you. All right. Sweet. Okay.
What's up, guys, and welcome to Straight from the Chest podcast. My name is Justin Groth, and I'm your host on this personal growth and development podcast. Listen, if you're new to the show, I just want to take this time. I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for being here, first and foremost. And if you're an avid supporter and listener to the podcast, and this is your 100th, 150th time tuning back in, just thank you again for giving me your listening ear and giving me your support of the podcast. And please, if you haven't yet already, please subscribe to the channel. We're on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere there's a podcast, we're there. And don't forget to share it on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, whatever. Link the podcast Straight from the Chest. And if you're doing it on Instagram, please at me at Justin Craig Groth, and I will obviously re-mention you in the stories. And it just helps generate more awareness of the podcast guests we have on, like the one we have on today, a boy of mine from the gym, Jason Quintero. What's up, brother? How are you? Welcome to the podcast, man. How are you?
Man. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Of course. So I want to get right into to how we met. So for people that don't know, we're local to a little area called Rio Grande here on the Central Coast, and there's a Gym Golf Fitness 19. You and I both attend there, man.
Yes, sir.
And I've been seeing you for long time. Like, I don't know, what, 2 years? I mean, even before pandemic, man, I remember seeing you there.
Like the last 3-4 years.
Yeah. And the one thing that I remember about you, and it was refreshed today, was how much of a fucking monster you are on the jump rope.
Oh, thanks,
You're
man.
a fucking monster, dude. Like, I don't know how you do that. I've jumped rope the last time I jumped rope, I think was in PE class.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, bro. But it's like, you're so good. You're talented with the rope. It's not like you just go fast and you just double unders. It's like, you're doing all kinds of shit, man. Where did you learn that?
It's just something I picked up from my youth, man. Growing up, I wrestled. Probably started wrestling when I was like in 7th grade, and that's a tool that was always, one of the foundations of training. And as I got older, I crossed over into fighting, mixed martial arts, and that's just something that stuck with me. And I just got addicted to doing different tricks. It's my favorite form of cardio because I feel like it's something that you can't really get bored with. Because I feel like as far as the different combinations like switches, crossovers, double unders, squat, side to sides, lunge side to sides, you can just the world is yours at that point. Like, and I just have so much fun doing it that it doesn't even feel like work. Like, it just feels like fun, like a kid in a playground.
You put work in, man.
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
you're going forever.
Yeah.
And you're not tripping up.
Yeah.
That's the other fascinating thing is you don't trip up on your rope.
Well, I've had a lot of trip ups to get to this point.
I'm sure. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure. But it's like you just do it effortlessly. It's just like seamless, man. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just so uncoordinated when it comes to when it comes to I almost said battle ropes. When it comes to jump rope, man, I fucking hate it. Dude, I'm just like your old stereotypical bodybuilder. If I'm gonna do cardio, it's gonna be stair work. Right. It's gonna be old-fashioned walking, incline just elliptical, basic shit. I mean, I'm not doing anything like profound like you, man.
Every now and then I do have to give my knees a break because I have 2 blown ACLs. There's half of the shit I do in the gym I probably shouldn't be doing, but it's kind of like that CT Fletcher where it's like, it's my body, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want until I can't do it no more because this is what I love. Like, I really enjoy it. And not only that, it's like such a good stress reliever. Like, physical fitness in general, I like to think as of it honestly, not just I like to think of it, it is an antidepressant for people who suffer from severe depression. Like, that's something that I do suffer from, and combined with cognitive therapy books, medication, and physical fitness, it's helped recalibrate me and brought me back, brought me back to my fullest self. And so so like, as far as fitness goes, like as far as like what my body ends up looking like, whatever I get from the results, it's really just a testament to me trying to kill demons in my mind. It has nothing to really do with like, I want to look like this. I just look like this because I'm trying to kill all these demons that are up in my head and just putting in that work. You know what I mean? Interesting. Yeah.
Where did that come? What was the onset of your depression? What was the impetus to having an issue with depression?
Well, it's something that I've suffered from ever since I was a child, but I didn't really know that it was depression at the time. Like, I was just like, I always knew like I was always sad. There was always something like deep in my heart where like it was heavy. I never really knew what it was. And it wasn't till I got older. I lost my little sister to suicide. She was 12 when she passed. And when that had happened, that kind of clicked like, oh, okay, it's got to be hereditary. And so I don't know where it stems from. I really think that it is hereditary, but it could have came from, I don't know. Also life experiences, different shit that I've gone through growing up has been kind of tough and stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know. If you were to ask me that, my straight answer would be it was passed down. But now I know how to arm myself with the arsenal of weapons to battle against it. Because before, as men, we were taught, don't complain, just go and handle it. Yeah. Handle it like a man. And doing so, I ended up bottling up a lot of shit for a lot of years until a point where like I would have these explosive outbursts that were very unhealthy. And I would hurt a lot of people in the process that I didn't mean to. But when your cup is overfilled, like it's kind of hard to not do that, to not be self-sabotaging, to not explode and shit like that. So yeah.
When you say overfilled, what do you mean?
Just overfilled with stress and like the thing that like, depression will do to you is that it ends up fucking like, it tricks your brain into thinking, it messes with your perception of things. And sometimes so much so that you don't know really what's fact or fiction because your mind is telling you something, even though like, like it's not really true. It's weird. Like, it's so hard because like my ex-wife would tell me like, I see you're going through it. How can I help you? And I would tell her, thank you. I appreciate you wanting to help me, but I don't know how to tell you to help me. And she used to think I was just being a dick, but I really like, if I could tell you, like I would tell you, like I would obviously tell you, but I don't know what's going on. So yeah. So, damn man. I forgot.
Is it like, I heard Jordan Peterson talk about depression one time, and it's like waking up and the first thought in your head is, all your family died in a car crash the night prior and you have no family. And that's what true depression is like for the person that is depressed.
I don't know. It's like you feel like nobody understands what you're going through. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people are going through it. And that's the lie. The lie that your brain will tell you that, no, this is just you. This is how you are. You're fucked up and blah, blah, blah. But it's not. And that's like the biggest. Like in the book, I think it's called The Feel Good Book. It's a cognitive therapy book by Dr. M.D. Burns. I believe that's his name. But it was stating like one interesting fact that I didn't know was that relapses from depression are more severe than drug relapses. Because, you relapse from your drug addiction, you fall back in your drug. A person relapses from depression usually ends in death. And I was like, damn, that shit hit hard. And like I've read other books, but like I would say if anybody wants to get their hands on some useful literature, I would recommend that book. Because other self-help books that I've read seem to take bits and pieces from that. Like that is the template. And like they kind of spin it in their own way. But that book has so many awesome exercises, so much information, and just like it really clicked that like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who thinks like this. I'm not the only one who feels like this. It's more than just me.
Do you think there's stages of depression? Like people have like a spectrum?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't know how bad it was. I feel like, did it start off negative?
No, this is great.
Okay. So, okay.
And the reason why I say it's great is because you're being transparent and you're dispensing with things that other people would otherwise coil up.
Exactly.
So that's why it's great. That's why I say it's great. Not because we're trying to broadcast the ailment, because this is something that other people are going to hear and really relate to.
And that's my biggest thing that why being here today is I hope that I can touch and reach somebody who feels like they're alone, because I can tell you, man, you ain't the only one. Like, trust me, I've been there. I've been through the darkest of darks, man. And it is possible to make it out the other side. Like it really is. But you got to put the work in. You got to want to help yourself, because if not, you're going to fucking drown. You know what I mean? And it's not fair to ask somebody to come help you, because what happens when people drown? You usually drown the person that's usually trying to help you as well. Yeah. So you really got to really want it. Otherwise, please don't ask people, like, you know what I mean? Don't pity party, none of that shit. But okay, so you asked the question right now, and I totally forgot what it was.
Well, it doesn't matter. Real quick.
Okay.
I want to ask another one. So in your line in your family line, right? And there's some depression there. Did any one of them avidly work out?
As far as?
Did they pay any kind of mind to a workout exercise regimen of any sort?
Hell no.
No.
Okay.
No. I just want you to clarify that. I wanted to ask and clarify that, because that is paramount to mental health.
Absolutely.
It's sometimes just the basic knowledge of exercising, sleeping well, eating well, and hydrating.
Yeah.
And if more people just adopted that, they might mitigate a lot of the onsets of depression.
Yeah.
Right? But that's why I asked that, because you're obviously changing your lineage here by being an avid workout or fitness enthusiast, and you take it to a whole nother level. You know, I mean, it's not something that, let's say you didn't have that. Who the fuck is Jason at that point? Because if you didn't have fitness and you didn't have that outlet, that's really what it is. It's an outlet.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that, you would be even more closed in with all your demons, and you wouldn't really know how to you wouldn't really know how to get rid of them or kill them or anything. So it's like, that's something that's so important. When you go to the gym and you work, nobody's going to know that you're exercising the demons out. Right. And a lot of people will say that, and they don't really have any demons to exercise. They just want to levy on that because it makes them look harder or seem harder. Like they're more like into their workout, they're focused, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Look, I can tell you in my workouts, I train with a specific type of behavior work ethic because that's what I started out with as a competitive bodybuilder. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be my best come show day.
Yeah.
So that's what's been ingrained in my head, which is the reason why I train the way I train. It's not because of mental health, right? It's not, well, that's a byproduct. So that's a byproduct for me, but the byproduct for you is the body.
Yeah.
You're not even after the body.
No.
You have a great body. And so that's something that's obviously by extension, something that's handed to you as a result of your endeavors in fitness. But that's all stemming from you trying to get more anchored in mental health, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I go on. I just wanted to ask that because I think it's paramount for the viewers and the listeners to understand that a lot of the reason why these things are passed down is because people don't do anything about them when they happen. And so it's definitely passed down. But if they had worked out, they might have mitigated a lot of the risk associated with you having it. You know, so.
And it's funny because in that book that I was talking about, I read they did a study. So they did like a 90-day study where they gave, so there's a group A and a group B. Group A was on medication only. Group B, no medication, cognitive therapy exercises, and physical fitness. So the 90 days comes and the results are off the charts. Like the depression levels are way down for the people who didn't have antidepressants, who only did cognitive therapy exercises and did physical fitness compared to people who were on medications. So they were saying in the book that, you know, to get the most benefit, they would incorporate all three: physical fitness, cognitive therapy exercises, and antidepressant, SSRIs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I found that fascinating because, like, don't think you can just take a magic pill and you're going to be all good, because there's a lot more you have to do. And the thing about fitness is it's free. You can do it anywhere. Don't give me that shit because you don't got a gym membership. There's so many good sources on YouTube for body weight exercises, which are phenomenal. Or hikes. There's like nature, like get your ass up and get out. Like, you know what I mean? And it's good for you to be in nature, to be surrounded by trees and a breeze and the sun and the ocean and all that shit. Like, you're taking in beauty, like you're taking in visual as well as inner, you know, exerting your body and using your body as movement and all that other good stuff. So yeah, I'm a huge advocate for all that.
It's interesting because even though people understand that that's the antidote, they will not engage in it because it's hard, right? It's
fucking life is hard,
it's
bro.
It's hard, bro. And it's like, that's the easiest thing you're gonna do in life.
Yeah.
Right. And the only thing that I've really taken from bodybuilding, or rather any kind of fitness that I've done, which is all centered around bodybuilding, is that I have more mental fortitude and work ethic than I even thought I had. That's the only thing that I've taken from it. Not the body, not the strength. I like those things, but the thing it's uncovered for me is knowing that there's a level to me in terms of being able to receive and deal with pain that I never fucking thought I had.
Yeah.
Ever. And that's the only thing, like that right there is really the only construct that I can take into any other thing or field in life.
Right.
That I can endure some shit.
Yeah.
I know that.
Resiliency.
Yes. And mentally, look, I haven't had the worst childhood, bro. I can't even fake that. I'm not going to boast here and say, well, I've had this, because it matches a certain frame that other people want to hear me say, so they feel like I have some credibility. Look, man, my family, I was blessed to be in a great family and they raised me well. It doesn't mean that there weren't things along the way that like I had hiccups with.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. But definitely not anything tragic. And I've been blessed in that regard. But if I didn't have this, oh my gosh, I'd be a weak motherfucker. Yeah. I'd be just weak. I'd be mentally weak. I wouldn't understand what it meant. I'd be like I'd be even more cushy than I am right now, bro. And that's a bad thing for a man. It might be a good thing for a woman. It's a bad thing for a man. And oftentimes I feel like there should have been more to happen to me, because there's something that I want more as a man in terms of the circumvention of who I am. I want to be the best man I can fucking be. And so, but without the hardships or without the struggle, I'm not going to really know what I'm made of. So I impose certain things on my own because I got to see what I'm made of. But even the imposing of these things, it's first world problems. They're not extravagant things that I'm dealing with and or you are dealing with. You may have dealt with them, but the where we live and how we live, I mean, gosh, it's so cushy, man.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, even if you're working a 9 to 5 or if you're a server or a busser or like yourself, a cook, man. I mean, you work a shift, you make a decent amount of money, you go home, you shower, you go to bed, you do it all over again, right? I mean, you're not worried about where your water or your food is coming from. You're not worried about your lights going out or not having lights or not having electricity. So for those reasons, we live a cushy existence to some degree, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's levels to that as well, right? If we were obviously in some third world country, we didn't have none of that shit.
Yeah.
Way different, right? But
be much more appreciative of what
we
have here.
We would. But then you get back here in a couple of weeks, you're like, that's normal again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just normal.
We just slip right back into it.
Slip right back into
like
it.
Nothing.
Yeah. I'm gonna take off a little bit. Go back a little bit to when we to the people that are viewing, listening about meeting you at the gym, etc. So I'm sure this is true for you, but in my life, man, there's been very few people that I come across and automatically I have a gravitational pull towards their energy. And you were one of those people. Oh, thanks, immediately, it wasn't seeing you, because for people that never see you and people that don't know you, I should say for people that don't know you, you're intimidating, especially in your workouts. Like, you're an intimidating looking gentleman. So but it's also because you're very into the workout and you're not there for fucking Instagram and pictures and shit like that.
Right.
And so when you see that, you're like, it's kind of intimidating. But then again, I've seen a lot of that, and I just give the space, like you do. Yeah. Like you were saying the other day, like, I want to come up and talk to you, but anyway, you're in your workout, so I gave you your space. Right. Like, you understand that notion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so do I. But that can easily deter somebody, right? And I'm not going to say it deterred me, because I'm just not I don't like to go up to people that I don't know and introduce myself. I think it's kind of, I'm not saying I'm not advocating against that. I'm just, that's not the kind of person that I am. Yeah. If conversation sparks organically, well, then it sparks organically, you know? And that's kind of how it happened with you and I. And when it happened, you interface with that person and you now are joining, and I hate to be this way, but this is just what it is. You're joining frequencies, energies, etc.
Oh yeah.
And when you do that, you can see if you have a disconnect or a connect. Right. You can feel it. And that was automatic with you, man. So we're good. Okay. So when that happened, I'm like, dude, this guy, there was just a positive exchange between you and I. And it wasn't because you were trying. And it wasn't because I was trying. Right. And that's the key point here to notice, is that it was just organic and it was real. And that energy exchange was something that I wanted more of. And so, and you had kind of briefly mentioned how you were a fighter. And people don't get into fighting at an early age because they like fighting. Right. So I knew right there's going to be a story to this guy. And if nothing more, I want to talk to him. And that's why I invited you on the podcast. Oh, thanks, so, I briefly kind of described that in the gym, but that's kind of the full-fledged story. And the thing is, it's a gift, man, to come across people in life that you naturally bond to without any kind of force or anything like that. Like, you're not trying to pry something or make something happen or work. And that's odd that it happens. I've only had it happen a few times in my life, man. I'm 37. So it's saying a lot. So anyways, I'm not like saying you should feel prize or anything. I'm just saying that's something that I wanted to share with you, because look, that's important to me. That's special to me, dude. So
I feel special, man. That's very kind of you to say. I
man.
appreciate that, man. Because sometimes I don't know how I come off in the gym, just because like I try not to give a fuck, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Just because some people, like, I don't know how they perceive me. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. But I kind of do, I guess, just because I don't want people to think like, oh, this fool's fucking over here, like, going balls to the wall. But like I said, I'm just trying to kill the demons in my head. It's not like I'm trying to show out or anything like that. But sometimes I feel like I come across that way. And then I'm also a bit socially awkward when I conversate with people. I've been getting a little bit better as far as conversation-wise. But I had been living under a rock for so long that I kind of lost touch with that as far as how to carry on a basic conversation with the person. I'm getting better now, and I'm trying to get out of my introverted tendencies, because fuck, man, there's so much beautiful people out there that I just like want to get to know, just to interact with. Like, I just want to know their background, what they're about. But sometimes I just feel like they think of me like weird.
I never got that impression.
Really?
Man.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I'm very I don't know what the word I would use, but I'm very analytical of all of anybody I interface with and my surroundings, my environment, everything. And I can't help that. It's just the way that this is the way that I was born, man. Like from an early age, I remember watching people and monitoring their behaviors, their movements, why they did certain things, their eye language, their body language, etc. Like, those things are very, I don't know why, they're just important. They were something that I was akin to at an early age.
Well, body language will tell you a lot about a person that their mouths their mouths won't tell you. You know what I mean? Like, the mouth can be saying one thing, but the body will tell you exactly how somebody feels. Yeah,
the body, but more so the eyes, right? Yeah. Because you can tell if people are soulless in the eyes. You can tell if there's no type of life, or like they don't really care, even they're trying to say that they care or express that or convey it. You can tell the difference, man. It's weird because it's like you have happy eyes or you have malevolent eyes. It's like it's one or the other.
Right.
It's never, and you can be so good at tricking people. You can have all the dark triad traits, Machiavellian, narcissistic, and I think it's psychopathic. And be all those things and be a master at persuading people. But you come across the right person that's able to fucking see through it. And there's something about that guy. There's something about that girl. Yeah. Something's off.
Yeah.
Because you can tell in their eyes.
Yeah.
And look, you and I are exchanging right now. We're looking in our eyes. But it's like, I'm not trying to dissect that. Because I've already established the baseline with Jason as he's good. Not he's in question.
Right.
Right? And there's people that are in question.
Right.
And the moment you let those people off the plank, you'll fuck yourself sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're in question for, even if everybody around you is like, no, he or she is great, they're solid. It's like, no, motherfucker, there's something to that guy.
Yeah.
And I just can't put my finger on it, but there's something. I wouldn't have this I wouldn't have this thought.
Intuition,
the intuition, right, about this gentleman or this woman if it weren't for a reason.
Right.
So maybe if I can't understand it or if I can't define it, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to interface with them anymore. I'm not going to,
Well, the thing is, eventually all that shit comes to the light. You can only pretend for so long before other people will start to realize, like, oh, this guy is a bullshit artist. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you can only mask it for so long.
Yeah, because you end up letting the guard down a little bit, or you let the guard down with the right person, and that person sees through it. And like I said, there was a guy that used to go to the gym, and he befriended everybody rapidly when he came in. And it's like, you just moved here, you're befriending everybody.
Yeah.
What's the point of that? And you're a really big guy. This is not I'm talking about you, even though you're a big guy. He's a really big guy. When I say big, I mean he wasn't like fat. He was like solid. He was sauced up, dude. So, and I'm not saying that has anything to do with his personality, anything, but he very well could have meant well. But there was something about him. I feel like he was just facetious, and he was just trying to paint a picture for people. But I've never met I shouldn't say that, because I know there are guys that do gear and sell gear, and they're good people.
Right.
Right. But they just get caught up in the whole event of bodybuilding, and they know guys that want to do gear. So well, I got gear, I'll sell to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a malevolent thing. Oftentimes, sometimes it is, but it's not because they're trying to like be a drug dealer, you know? But I feel like when I would see this guy, I'm just thinking there's just something about him, and I just stayed away from him because of that. And before he moved, I came in contact with him about something that he had contention about with me, and we ironed it out. But the way he interacted with me on that level at that moment was solidifying everything I fucking thought about him prior, you know? And he had contention with me over something that he thought was going on, or he thought about me.
Yeah.
Or he thought that I had said, or I had worded something to one of his friends. And I'm careful with my words, buddy. I'm not going to say something that's not going to bring me in direct contention with you unless I want that.
Well, I say it, I mean it.
Yeah. And unless I want that and I want to get back to you, then I'll say something.
Oh yeah.
But if that's not my motive, or that's not my avenue with you, I'm not going to say anything. And it wasn't. He took it wrong. And again, the colors came out at that moment, right?
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole different story. It doesn't matter. But my point is, you can tell when people they have ill intentions, or rather, they're not exactly
what they portray themselves to be. Yeah,
they're not exactly well, I can't think of the word. But yes, you got it, man. They're not genuine, right?
Right.
There's a sort of a disingenuous element, but you can't put your finger on it. For that reason, I just stay away from people like that, you know?
But sometimes that's your gut, and I feel like
that is your gut, man.
And your gut 90% of the time won't let you down, I feel like.
I think I've never had a situation where my gut let me down, but it's a hard discernment between what is my gut, or is that my brain, or is that my heart?
Yeah.
It's hard to discern which is which.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think that most of us operate on the intuitive aspect, and or our gut. But sometimes our brain will override that shit and it'll be like,
absolutely,
nah, man, it's not that. Just keep going, you know, or don't worry about that, you know. But
when it's your heart, do you feel like it's like maybe I'm being just like a little too judgmental? Maybe like, is it the heart that's telling you like maybe I should be a little bit more forgiving? Because I feel like that's what it is for me. But then my gut's like, nah, man, something's up. Like, listen to me. I'm telling you what it really is. Like, don't listen to your heart.
That's your brain kicking, I think, man, at that point. And the brain and the gut, we know this, are wired. There's nerve innervations rather, more in the gut than there is in the brain. So a lot of what you're probably thinking is possibly stemming from your gut, and or sending signals to your brain, and then that's how you think. You know, I can't really dissect it much further than that.
Right.
I'm not that smart, bro. So, but the heart's more like emotionally wound. It's like, have empathy.
Yes.
Or be conscientious about this or that. You know, like, don't step on that person's toes in this regard, or, you know, say a word here that you might not have wanted to say.
Right.
You know, mow over that contention with that person, you know, make things right. That's like your heart telling you. But then again, maybe that's your gut too, to some degree. I mean, it's hard to really discern, man, what is what, or which is which, you know?
It is. It really is. And
also, when you're too much in your heart, as men, I can say this with absolute certainty, you almost feel like, nah, that's bitch. I can't be that way. I'm going to override. No, fuck it. And I suppress that shit. I just shove it down, man. I just shove it down, because that's what men are great at. We're great at shoving shit down and not identifying it. Well, identifying it rather, but just not doing anything about it.
Right.
Just shoving it down and accepting it.
Yeah.
You know, like, for example, if a woman leaves you, this is going to be good. If a woman leaves you for purposes of saying, Jason, I don't think that you're doing X, Y, Z. You're not doing X, Y, Z. So I'm going to leave you. Would you fight for that woman back, provided she was just a woman you were starting out with? And really you could see there was investment in her. There was some future possibly. Would it cause you to want to ante up? Or would it cause you to just be like, you don't see what I'm doing here. You don't see my struggle or my pain. You don't want to make my life more peaceful so I could possibly be the man that you need and want, and you don't want to give this shit time? Or do you just be like, walk away?
I think it depends at that point. Like, if I see potential in the relationship, maybe. But at the same time, if she says I'm not this, and that, I'm not about to change myself for you. Like, you either take me as I am or let me go, because like I've done that. Yeah. And you lose yourself in the process, and it's not fair. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the other person. It's a facade that the person wants you to be this way so they can love you. And like I said, you get lost. You wake up one morning and you're like, who the fuck am I? Like, I don't know who the fuck I am anymore. Like,
because you were changing for a woman.
Yeah. So in that regard, I feel like if she was like, Jay, you're not doing this, that, I'm out. Bye.
Exactly.
Bye.
You just accept it.
Yeah, bye.
Most, I would argue that most men are good at just accepting shit. It's the same thing as like if let's say you were overweight, which you're not. You're overweight with muscle, clearly. No. But you're not overweight. If somebody were to tell you, like one of your good friends would tell you, hey man, you're fat, dude. Like, shame you. Would you sit there in your fucking feelings and be like, I can't believe you said that. It's unfair that I should be. No, dude, you're gonna.
Fuck, I gotta get my ass a gear.
Exactly. You're just gonna do something about it. You're just gonna accept it, and you're gonna do some shit about it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, but that's biologically how we're wired, is it not?
Yeah.
It's a way that we're have this constant burden to create ourselves and become better. You can coin it as a better version of yourself. That's a watered down version of basically what it means to, I need to create myself. Whatever this burden is that I'm feeling, then that's telling me do something or do something about my current circumstance or situation. I need to put that into effect. I need to do something. I need to create. I need to build something. And whatever that is, whatever that means to that person, whatever that looks like rather, it's going to be a little different, man, for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But it's important for men to create themselves into something. So not only we can leave something behind for our kin, for our kids, etc., but to be able to provide for a woman, for a family. Like, that's innately what we want to do most of the time. I can't speak for all men.
Yeah.
Most men want to do that shit, you know? And if it's not, and yes, it is for them, but I would argue that it's for them inadvertently for women as well. Like it's one of those silent yet paramount things that we engage ourselves in because it benefits the other party, which is the woman and the family.
Well, it trickles down.
It trickles down, right? So it's like looking at a woman and seeing not humongous, but big hips, maybe a curvature to her ass, and big breasts. Like, we see that and we want to procreate with that, but we see that as like, that just looks hot. Like, I just like that shit, right? You know, but our lizard brain is telling us, well, you want to fuck that, but that's it. But really, internally, biologically, we know that woman can bear a child or bear our child with ease because of the hips. And then we know that they can nurture that child with those breasts.
Right.
And so that's what that's what our natural innate desire is stemming from, to move towards that woman. We don't see it that way because we just want to fuck. So we're like, that looks good. Yeah. I want to fuck that.
You know? Really behind all that, the caveman brain, that's what it is. Like,
the caveman is strategic.
Yeah.
So we're not looking at it from strategy, but that's how we were programmed for a fucking millennia.
Oh, yeah.
We're programmed that way, to see women that way.
Right.
And women, conversely, they're programmed to see a man tall, strong, physically fit and being able to protect her. And then obviously if they're tall and they have a stature to them, they can protect them. But then what do they bring to the table in terms of provision? So they're looking at that as well.
Yeah.
Women are hypergamous. They're always going to want to date up and date a man that makes more money than them, etc.
Right.
Well, that's another innate need that we have, or rather urgency that we have to create ourselves so that we can get a woman. We can rather, I don't want to use that word, so we can collect the woman that we want. Right? So that's inadvertently why we do what we do, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it is for us to some degree in the momentary time slot that we don't have a woman. But ultimately we're trying to attract the woman. And we do that by becoming better. We do that by becoming more.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you think is more important, protection or provision? Because I feel like protection kind of levels up a little bit, because if you can't protect what you're trying to provide for, then what's the point?
So the number one thing that women, well, I shouldn't say number one thing. This is a broad platform here. So I would say most of the time women are looking for security and safety.
I would say the same, yeah.
And whether that comes in protection, in the form of protection and or provision, that's what they search for. They search to be covered. Yeah. And the covering is going to come from the man protecting them. And they know that they're protected and providing for them. So it would be, I guess, up to the woman to clarify what she deems more important for her. Yeah. You know, it's like, do I want to be provided for? And I guess at that point, how much are you provided for? And is security hired on? So if your man is a pipsqueak, can't protect shit, right? But you have an arsenal of fucking security around your house, right? Okay, well he provided all of that. Yeah, yeah. So I guess it's levels to that, and it's like, and it's all dependent on the woman, what she deems more valuable in the man. But we can, without argue, say that women are searching for security and safety. Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. Men are seeking what? Femininity. Yes. You know, they're seeking, this is a bad word for a lot of women to hear, but I'm going to say anyway, submission. Yeah. They're seeking cooperation from a woman. They're seeking support, like them to be their support system, etc. Like helpmate. You know, if you're talking going back to biblical times, it's a helpmate. Right. The woman is the helpmate to the man. Yeah, yeah. And the man is the leader. And the woman, they're not, most women nowadays won't concede to this, but they look for a leader. They look to be led.
Would you say that's more like the alpha male trait?
You can be masculine and not be alpha male.
Could be masculine beta male?
I don't know. I see alpha and beta are mindsets. But masculinity is something that you adopt and you believe in, and you venture out in the world in that manner, right? And instill you collect the behaviors and you believe in those behaviors, and you obviously exercise those behaviors in real time, real life, right? You know, so you can have a beta male that can provide and that can fucking do a lot, like Elon Musk. Yeah, he's a perfect example of that. He's a beta male, but he has all the monetary as an alpha male would presumably have. Right. You know what I mean? And he's gone out in the world and he's created all this, that, and the other. Yeah. And he's one of the richest men in the world. So, but he's still a beta. So I guess the beta and the alpha are mindsets. I don't really think about that as much as I think about masculinity being the main driver of the male. Yeah. That should be the main theme of the male. And the moment you adopt masculinity, you automatically switch from probably being more beta-esque in the mindset to more alpha-esque. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I mean, we could go off on you know, other branches of that topic, but I just feel like I just think that if you're going to be anything as a man, be masculine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if that deters certain women from liking you or wanting you. Let me be frank, dude. Women want the masculine dominant male.
Yeah.
They may not know what to do with it when they have it. They may not know how to interface with it when they have it. Because but they want it. Because why would they not?
Yeah.
That's a source of security and protection and safety. And we can establish that all women want that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know one woman. I've never spoke with one woman that doesn't value those constructs, the safety and security elements. Never. I'm not saying they don't exist. Unicorns exist. Fuck. But, I mean, majority of women, that's what they seek out, man. Yeah. But it's when you create yourself, you automatically adopt certain disagreeable, contentious, and competitive traits that otherwise lend you towards the end of being more alpha-esque or masculine. You're not willing to just assume whatever comes your way. Mm-hmm. Or you're willing to disagree, you're willing to combat, you're willing to compete. And that's something that you did. Mm. You know, as a fighter, you're going against another man. You don't know who's going to come out. Right. But you're going to try your hardest to mess this guy up so that you are deemed the fucking winner. Right. And that's combat. That's something that a lot of men, they don't partake in, but they might partake in that in other areas of their life. It just looks different for all men, right? Mm-hmm. But the most masculine but sweet men that I've ever met have been fighters. Really? Yeah, man. So it's no wonder why you are the way you are. I mean, or why I sense that from you, man. I mean, like, I've never met a fighter that's like just a prick and just really full of himself and just like, whoa, you want to get fucked up right now? Yeah. Like, I've never met a fighter like that.
Yeah, usually those guys are the first to get their ass whooped.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that I think it's because they have such a vast confidence in their ability to fuck you up.
And there's a calm because we get choked out, fucking kicked in the head, kicked in the throat daily. So it ain't nothing. It's routine. But martial arts is like really embedded in life in general. Like, it's everywhere in life. Like, whether you know it or not, it is. And there's a sense of peace that comes with that. You know what I mean? And I think that's why fighters, I've come across, like you said, there's unicorns. There's some bad unicorns. There's a couple of dickheads there and there. But like I said, they're usually the first. If you bark loud, like, you usually ain't about shit. Yeah. But they're like silent killers. Right. Silent killers, it's basically. True.
It's really true.
Because at that point, you don't need to boast. You know what you're capable of. And you know that if shit was to pop off, you're fine. You can handle yourself. At least to a degree where you can get to some sort of safety. Yeah. Weapons and all that other shit coming. Street fights are terrifying just because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Like, I've been stabbed before in a street fight.
What?
Yeah, bro. I've been stabbed.
Talk about that.
So, it's probably close to 3-4 years ago now. We were living off Elm Street. And
this is in AG?
Yeah, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah. At the Elm Street apartments, man.
Those are ghetto though, bro. Yeah. I used to live on Elm Street.
Borderline Oceanos.
Yeah, man. I know exactly where that's at.
So my neighbor was getting jumped, and there's like 4 or 5 guys on top of him. He's my neighbor, like, and I know he saw me see him getting jumped. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, when I see him tomorrow, like, hey, look who made it alive. So I was like, fuck, man, I got to do something. So
was this at night?
Mm-hmm. So I ran out there and I started body slapping people left and right. And it was only like, I wasn't trying to throw blows. My main objective was to scoop him up, pull him out, and just get him off the ground. So I remember like slamming 3 or 4 people out of the way. And then what I thought was an elbow I caught was actually a knife. And I remember tasting blood in my mouth and I was like, fuck. But I got to him. So I scooped him up, I pulled him out. And by the time I got him to his feet, they had hopped in the car and they drove off. And so we're walking back to the apartments and I was just like, hey, you okay? You all right? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Thank you for, coming, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing he goes, yo, you're dripping blood. And I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. obviously adrenaline, you don't feel shit.
Right.
So I take off my shirt, man, I'm gashed from here. I got stuck right here. It went through the ribs.
No.
Punctured my lung.
No.
I didn't know my lung was punctured though until we got to the emergency room and the doctor turned me over and then it collapsed and I couldn't breathe. And I guess, what's shorter, centimeters or millimeters?
Millimeters.
And the doctor said the tip of the knife was millimeters away from my heart. It's like you got really lucky. So man. I got slashed here. Like if I was to shave off my mustache, you would see like a scar here. I have a slash against my belly that got stapled up. This stuck here, and then I got stuck in the back. And the way the knife went in the back, it didn't go like straight in. It went like up at a fucked up angle, so it left this big ass hematoma of like a pocket of blood and shit at the back of my on my back. And so, yeah, so I was hospitalized for a few days, but yeah, that shit.
That must have came from like 2 or 3 guys with knives.
Well, yeah, because there was like there was 4 guys and 1 girl. 1 girl hopped out at the end. I was like, what the fuck, bitch?
Were they looking to kill your neighbor?
I don't know. But I when I look back, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have did that.
Right.
But that's like my stupid ass. Like I always want to try to help people and do what's right and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's beneficial and sometimes I end up fucking biting the bullet on it. And that one I bit the bullet and I was just like, fuck, man, I shouldn't have did that. But I mean, it's just who I am. Like,
so here's the question. If you were not a fighter, you didn't have that type of confidence in your ability to fight, do you think that you would have stepped out amidst 4 or 5 dudes with the other guy getting his ass whooped?
No, I probably would call the cops.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, man. That's honestly what I should have did, because at the end of the day, I was just like, fuck, dude, like, was it really worth all this? Like, you know what I mean? At the time I was married, I was like, was it worth putting my wife at that time through that shit? Because, I snuck in the house because I didn't want to alert her. Once he told me, he's like, yo, you're stabbing. And then I took off my shirt and then I saw like all the gashes and shit. So I was like, yo, you got to take me to the hospital. I was like, but I can't wake up my wife. So I snuck in the house. I grabbed my wallet. Not sneaky enough.
Wait. Why couldn't you wake your wife up?
I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't want to worry her. And at the time, like, our relationship was not really great. And I just didn't want to add to the stress of what was going on with us as far as a married couple. But I was not quiet enough. So she was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you try to sneak it. She thought I was trying to do some sly shit. She's like, you try to sneak in the house and grab something? I was like, no. I'm like, fuck. I was like, well, I got stabbed and I need to go to the hospital. She's like, what the fuck? So it became this whole thing, but yeah.
You don't think she would have wanted to help you though?
Yeah, but she was still pissed.
Okay, but this is your life. Yeah. This is your life in harm's way, and it's not like you just got in a street fight and you got a black eye and you're coming in and you're like, oh, I got beat up a little bit. No, this is your life. This is like, you didn't know what was going on because of adrenaline, like you said.
Right.
But anybody that looks at your body after your shirt's been off and sees all the wounds, gashes, that's a cause for concern. And you would think that anybody, especially the one that you are married to, is going to want to help you in that regard. I don't know if that's a dig on you or her, because that's pretty serious, man. And the fact that you were like not wanting to impose that on her, like it's none of my business, but it's like, I'm just homie to homie. It's like, I don't know how I don't know where that didn't go off in your head. Like, but this is a serious matter though. Like this is now a serious matter. No matter if you're in a deep sleep, feuding doesn't matter. This is really serious now because I could fucking die.
I think at that point in our marriage, it was just like anything to avoid conflict. I didn't want her to worry, first off, because, you know what I mean? I care about her. I didn't want to alarm her. But then at the same time, because where we were in marriage, like, I didn't want to hear all the shit. Like, and I knew that was going to come. I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on her or anything, you know what I mean? Because obviously she's the mother of my children. She's an awesome mom, I couldn't have asked for a better baby mama, but I don't know. I really don't know. But I just knew that if she knew, she's gonna be pissed, and she was. So,
right.
I don't know who's. I blame myself, honestly, because I shouldn't have helped. I shouldn't have did that. But it's in my nature to want to help people, especially when I see somebody like 4-on-5. That shit. I mean, 4-on-1. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Like at least line up. Everybody line up, and you go heads up 1-on-1, and then if you get knocked, you get knocked. Whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. That's like piece of shit type shit to me. Like, I've never been about that. Like people getting jumped. Like I don't see the point of that. Street fights are scary. Like I said, you can fuck around, get knocked out, slam your head on the floor as you're falling, and fucking die.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous. At least in a cage fight, it's a controlled atmosphere.
Yeah.
There's somebody supervising. There's somebody to stop when it's like super bad. Like, yeah, street fights have always kind of like, scared me just because, not that I'm afraid of the fight, but I'm afraid if I do something and it's, because when I fight, I fight the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just afraid of what I might end up doing that may not be beneficial towards, me.
So what got you into fighting?
So, like I said, I grew up wrestling, and I was a pretty decent wrestler until I blew out my ACL. I think, was it my junior year? I went to state. Sophomore year, I placed 4th at nationals for freestyle in the heavyweight division for my age category. At that time, I think it was like between 15 16. I had scholarships lined up and stuff like that, but I ended up blowing out my knee. I tore my ACL, tore my meniscus, and some other shit during a football combine. So all that shit went bye-bye. But I knew that how much I loved grappling. So once, I had the ACL reconstruction and all that other shit, got into jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu crossed over into kickboxing, and then I don't know. Do you know who Scott Lighty is? Mm-mm. He's a K1 veteran at heavyweight, and then he transitioned. K1, right? Was kickboxing. Mm-mm. It was like during the Pride days and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So he was a K1 veteran, and then he switched over to MMA and got picked up by Strikeforce, and he was a light heavyweight contender there. So Scott Lighty and Glover Teixeira, who just recently lost his UFC title at light heavyweight, those two were training partners, and they served as training partners to Chuck. And so Scott Lighty needed somebody with a wrestling background to come in and help him work his ground game. So that's initially how I got pulled in, and then it just made sense. Like, well, I already got grappling, I got jiu-jitsu, I've been doing kickboxing for a while, I might as well just put them all together and just let's go, let's run it. So did that for a while. I had a couple fights out in Vegas, which were a ton of fun. Those were awesome. A couple fights out here, and then initially when my son came, because I was training like anywhere between like 8 to 10 hours a day, not consecutively, but throughout the day. Like I would like train a couple hours in the morning before work, go to work. On my lunch break, I'd come to the gym and then like do like a 2.5 hour workout, spar and all that other good shit. Go back to work, finish my work. And then when I would go home, I'd do all my road work, running, hitting the tires, sledgehammers, all that good shit. And it was a lot of fun, man. It was like good experience. Like I've got to work in with like a lot of UFC fighters and stuff like that. I've even had lunch with Dana White, and that was pretty dope.
Nice, man.
Yeah, that was real dope, man. Because our trainer, his name is Eric Schwartz, came up with Chuck. When Chuck was coming up, he came up with him, and he was, they both went to Cal Poly and wrestled at Cal Poly together. And so he knew Dana. So every time we would go out to Vegas to train, he would hit up Dana. But Dana obviously is a businessman. It was always busy. But one time we got into the UFC building, and like I don't get starstruck for shit. Like I've worked out with Randy Couture and other fighters and stuff like that, and like it's like more of like, yeah, this is dope. But then when I saw Dana White, I was like, fuck, that's the gatekeeper right there. Yeah. I was like real starstruck in the sense that like this guy can actually change my future, if I really am about it, which I was about it. But then when I had my son at 20, everything changed. I just knew that there was no way I could be a father. There was no way I could be the father I wanted to be, which I always knew, you know, based off my father and mistakes that he's made, knowing that I didn't want to repeat those. But I knew that something had to give. So, you know, I just fell head over heels for my son and being a dad and like everything that comes with that responsibility. Like I just loved every part of it, and it outweighed my love for fighting at that point. And I didn't want to be away from him. Like I just wanted to spend every minute with him. I couldn't get enough.
That's really honorable, man.
Yeah.
To hear and to hear that, it's beautiful. You also want to provide for your son.
Yes.
Right. So if fighting wasn't going to be the provisionary road,
mm-hmm.
what did you then do?
9 to 5.
9 to 5. Doing what?
A bunch of fucking oddball jobs and stuff. Like mason, cooking, vendor. I'm currently a vendor right now for Frito-Lay, which is an awesome job. Like I'm not complaining at all, especially where I'm at in life right now. I have a lot of gratitude for everything that I have, because I know at any point it can be taken away. But just jobs here and there. Nothing really that's sustained or satisfied me. Even now, like I like my job, but I don't love it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not what I want to do in my life. At this point, I'm 34. I'm still trying to find exactly what my lane is, because I know this is cool now, but it's not what I want to do. But it's just trying to find what it is I want to do. I used to think it was fitness, but like I said, fitness is just a byproduct of me trying to kill the demons in my head. What I think I really like to do is some sort of inspirational, motivational, something in that field. I don't know what exactly, whether it be a speaker or some shit, but something in that field I feel calling to me, and I'm trying to figure out how to put my foot in the door with that. Like as far as like IG stories, like I love the IG stories that I like. I just love putting like a pick me up, like, cause I need pick me ups every day. I need to pick me up all the time. And really I started like doing these like self-motivating, I know you've seen a few of them. And they're really just pick me ups for me, like just to remind me like, yo, you got it. Just keep going. You're doing good, especially where my life's at right now. But it seemed like other people kind of took to it, and like, you know, they would drop me DMs like, oh, yo, that was dope. Like, I like that, what you put together. Cause the way I try to do it is I try to put a video together, and then I try to put, words together after the video. So it kind of goes hand in hand, it kind of feeds each other. But like I said, really, they were just for me, like just reminders for me, so I can look back when I'm feeling low and I need to pick me up. Like all right, cool. You can make it another day. You can make it another hour. You can make it another minute. But people seem to like them, so I was like, oh, that's cool.
Do you feel like you're pressed to that degree where you can make it another minute, you can make it another day?
At this point, no. Okay. So like March of last year, I was actually admitted to a mental institution. And this was at the height of everything of my depression. This was at the height of my marriage really falling apart. And my wife walked in on me trying to kill myself. Didn't know what to do. So she called the paramedics. She called, God bless her too for that, because the way I had set it up, I was going to use my dead weight to hold the door back. It was a form of like, of a hang type of thing. But with all her strength, she pushed through my big ass and cracked the door open, and, you know, God bless her for that. And so basically, you know, they label me as a 5150. You automatically have to go to a mental institution, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it was clarity for me, because I realized like I was not happy what I was doing. I was working a bullshit graveyard job. My sleep was all fucked up. I wasn't seeing my kids. I wasn't seeing my wife either at the time because of our schedules. And then our marriage was fucking falling apart. So, and then like I said, like it was just in my head, my thoughts were taking control of me. And and it wasn't like, oh, fuck, pity me. Like, I just want to kill myself. Like, you just want to shut it off. Like, right. I just want to turn it off, give me 30 minutes to turn it. And like, it gets to a point where you're desperate to turn it off. Like, I don't know how to shut my brain down. Like smoke weed, drinking, none of that shit none of it helps. So it was just like, fuck, dude, it's lights out time. Like I just need it to stop because it's like killing me, like internally. Like I just need my brain to stop fucking running, seriously. And but it was the best thing for me because I met a woman out there. Her name was Dory. I don't know her name, but shout out to Dory at the Santa Rosa Aurora Mental Institution because she kind of shared with me like her son's kind of similar to me, and she's the one that plugged me with the book. But being in the mental institution, it was fucking crazy, man. There was people running around screaming and shit. I was like, fuck,
you're probably the most normal one in there.
Oh, I got it kind of good actually. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think I could go now, please. But it was something I needed because without that, I would have never got plugged. I would have never known what cognitive therapy was. That lady was a godsend to give me that book. I would have never pushed myself to get medication. I've tried therapy in the past, but like it just never really clicked with me. So it was beneficial because then I realized like how unhappy I was and like with everything that was going on, and something needed to change.
So a lot of times you feel like you're not contributing. Mm-hmm. When you feel like you're not contributing and or you're not contributing, that's a big weigh on a man's heart and a man's psyche. And that for me and for others as well is the main reason why we sort of exile ourselves from other people, because if we can't be of utility to anybody or anything, it's like, well, we're kind of going against the biological urge to actually be something. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's not happening, and because we are in the pits of it, because nothing's happening, it's just like a constant vicious cycle that is continuing. Mm-hmm. And it looks different for everybody. Monsters look different for everybody. You know, everybody's dragon is a different height, a different look, but nonetheless you have to slay your dragon. Mm-hmm. And so most of the time it's easier to slay the dragon when you do something, mm-hmm. not when you don't do anything, for lack of a better explanation than that. Mm-hmm. I mean, with fitness, even though it seems very rudimentary and it seems like it's futile. Like, you have real big boy problems to deal with. You don't mm-hmm. go work out right now. Yeah. But that in and of itself, because it's aligned with the body and the brain, there's two components to that, and they're both in conjunction with you facilitating in these exercises. That gives a man more worth instantaneously.
Absolutely.
And when you have that, you automatically want to do more of it, mm-hmm. and you want to venture in a different path. You start to become more creative. You start to become more motivated. Mm-hmm. If you're careful, you can then set disciplines that can move you further towards your aim or whatever your focus is in that particular season of your life. And you may be able to create some shit. And then when you create that thing, you have more competency. Obviously, as a byproduct, you have more confidence. And then it just builds like a brick wall. Right. You just stack bricks every day. I don't know what I'm not going to sit here in front like I know what it feels like to be depressed. Mm-hmm. Because again, man, I told you, I had a really good, I was blessed to have a good childhood, man. And that's all in part because of my dad, because what my dad did for his family, mm-hmm. which is analogous to what you're doing right now for your son.
Right.
So even though you had a not so good childhood or not the best of upbringing, mm-hmm. that's fair to say, right?
Right.
you are circumventing your situation to where now the benefit is going to extend to the youth, to them. The only thing that we have to be careful about, when I say we, I mean you, is that you don't create a soft man in the process.
Yes.
Because that could be detrimental to his kids.
Yeah. Because what's that saying, right? Like, strong men make weak men make
hard times,
and then
hard times make strong men.
And then its cycle continues. Yeah.
And it's very, very true, man. And I'm on the end of what a weak man would be, because I had a strong man.
Do you feel that your childhood had hindered you from? Because the way you talk about it, I feel like you feel like as a father, and I'm sure your dad can attest to this, you want to provide a nice, easy life, though you may be robbing them of something, detrimental as far as struggle, but that is your goal. That's the protection and provision. That's the purpose of being a father, is to protect and provide for your children, for your wife, or whatever.
Right.
Do you feel sometimes like it, because I don't know, the way you say it, like, do you feel like, I don't know, do you feel a certain way about it?
Yeah, like it comes off like I'm discouraged a little bit.
Yeah, like, and I don't think you should be, because...
Well, here's how I feel about it. So, if I were to have gone off in the avenue of adopting and receiving everything that he had been able to provide for me as a child and kept going with that, then I would be in trouble. As an adult. Yeah. I'd be in serious trouble. But if it weren't for... And this is where fitness is more profound than people give it credit to. If I hadn't found fitness, I would have never uncovered how much of a fucking savage I can be when it comes to pain, and when it comes to discipline, and when it comes to consistency and tenacity and all those other prevailing elements, etc. Had I not uncovered those, I'd be in trouble.
Right.
For sure. And you add the advent of alcohol, drugs, big fucking trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm fortunate.
As I'm drinking.
No. But that's not to say anything about anybody else, because I'm the minority here in this regard, right?
Yeah.
Not drinking, not doing shit. But here's the thing. I'm glad that I believe God kind of looked out for me in that regard. And there's a reason why I never took any kind of affinity in those types of behaviors. I don't know why, but I remember at an early age, it never was pressed down my throat more than the average person. Like, don't do drugs, don't drink, it's bad for you, blah, blah, blah. Right? But for some reason, I took it to an extreme level. And I'm absolutely confident that if I had dabbled in those areas, it would have been an addiction. Like most of the things that are prominent in my life are addictions. And they're, or rather, obsessions. So I would have absolutely. What kind of person might I think that I would have been exempt from being obsessed with very easy substances to become obsessed and addicted over? It would have absolutely happened for me, bro.
Oh yeah.
And if that were to be the case, I'd be in trouble. 100%.
Do you chalk that up to your OCD compulsions and stuff? As far as like, okay, I know that if I even dabble a little bit in this, I might get carried away. So
it's where the OCD comes into play is, I haven't done it this long, I'm not going to start.
What's the point? Yeah.
My streak. I don't want to break my streak, right?
Oh, okay.
So even if the streak is a day, well, I got a day. So I want to make it 2 days.
Right.
And I'm going to make it fucking 4 days. Yeah. And then that's the compound over time. So now it's a streak I'm on. I'm not going to break that streak now. I'm way too deep in the streak.
Hey, years in the making.
I'm not going to break it, right? So the thing is, but if I didn't start and I didn't allow myself to that I guess notion of a streak, then I would have ended up engaging in whatever that was, whatever the, whether it was substances or just drugs in general, and or both. And bro, I would have been in really big trouble. I'm not talking about like, I would have been probably
an addict or some shit
somewhere.
Yeah.
Not here.
Yeah.
Somewhere bad. Right. And or dead. Because honestly, like, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a very consistent person with anything that I have an obsession over.
Right.
And you don't think drinking, if that made me feel some type of way, or alcohol, drugs that made me feel some type of way,
wouldn't be obsessed about it.
It's the main reason why I never did steroids. Like in my realm of competitive bodybuilding, that's the next thing you do to be better, to level up.
Right.
But I knew that if I was to do that, it would have been short term because you can't be big and fucking jacked forever.
Right.
And I knew that I wanted to live longer and I'm not saying that guys that don't do steroids don't live long. I'm just saying that
better quality of life.
Quality of life is something that that there's a very, I guess there's a noble understanding of that within myself. Like I want to be able to be somewhat healthy, knowing that lifting and eating the way I eat isn't all that healthy. Like it would be healthier to work out less with full body splits, probably eat a more vegetarian but meat, fruit type, Mediterranean type style diet. I don't do that. I focus on macros, calories in, calories out.
You counting all that?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I mean, like, but if the calorie comes from a fucking Pop-Tart, it comes from a Pop-Tart. You know what I mean? Like, no, I joke. I don't really eat Pop-Tarts, but
I love Pop-Tarts.
I love Reese's. I'll tell you that. I love Reese's.
Anything with peanut butter and chocolate, man.
Yeah, that's my shit. Yeah.
You got me.
But, so those things can, like, I'm not exactly the poster boy for anything health. Like, am I healthier than some? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So are you, but that's determinant on our body weight, really, right. Our BMI, etc. So I'm healthy in that regard, but like what I'm drawn to or what I gravitate towards isn't necessarily healthy unless I put a cap on things. And I don't know that I'm confident that I'll be able to put a cap on alcohol or drugs, especially when they're very, very, very known for their ability to become addicted or rather,
oh yeah, that monkey on your back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a good thing. And for whatever reason, this is why I call it God, because I, at 15, when I was first introduced to these things, there's no reason why I shouldn't have wanted to dabble in them. Like, I was introduced to pussy at 15. I dabbled in that.
A little bit here, a little bit there.
A lot. So I don't think that other cardinal desires wouldn't have, fermented into something extra on top of that, on top of this, what the sex was doing. So it's like, look, the fact that I said no to that, I can't give you an understanding or a definition as to why, other than I thought there's something more to this that I should not engage in for reasons that are inadvertently unknown to me right now. And, or so that's why I said no in the beginning, but then it went on into high school and I started to become, I guess, known, or the identity sort of was surrounding the fact that Justin doesn't do this sort of thing. And I don't mean to speak of myself in third person, just for purposes of, conversation. Like, people thought, people knew I didn't drink and do drugs. So I sort of liked the uniqueness
of that
centered
idea,
around that idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's what then was the driver afterwards. And then the driver after that was the fact that I've developed this streak of not doing it. So now it's levying on my OCD. So now my OCD is a driver for me not doing, to maintain my
that streak. Yeah. But that's admirable, man. That's good, because especially in high school, that's fucking the worst time to try to, all the peer pressure, parties. It was so hard not to drink. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting fucked up and doing drugs and shit like that. So
yeah, I just focused on...
Did you party?
I just focused on getting pussy. That's all.
That was my main drug.
That's it, man.
But you know what? Going back to like when I was asking you, did you feel like it, your father's way of upbringing you kind of hindered you? But you, like you said, you developed these skills, like bodybuilding. Yeah. Basically showed you you're resilient, you're durable, your work ethic.
That's a really good word, durable.
Durable.
That's a really good word.
It is, because you know what? I feel the same way with me, as far as and these traits carry over in life. it's not just something that you adopted during your wrestling season or during a fight and then it goes away. Bye. No, these are things that to this day I still apply to my life. And I remember coaches telling me like a wrestler's work ethic is second to none. And I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. But now as a man, and then like some of the most dominant fighters came from a wrestling background. Like that ground and pound shit and all that other good shit. But it's not even about that. It's just about the life lessons you learn throughout those times, and how they carry, like I said, how they carry over into life. Like it's huge, because without them, I wouldn't be the person I would be. I wouldn't have the values I would be holding today, or the standards that I expect for myself or for my children. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many great life lessons in sports, like as far as structure and everything like that.
Agreed. And if more people immerse themselves in sports and didn't think of sports as just sports, but thought of them as actually
life lessons,
guiders, and life, like a teacher, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like you brought up the fact of being durable, or seeing if you're even durable or not, because some people are fucking frail, and they're easily coiled when presented with any kind of. I have clients that are like that. They're easily, I guess, compressed under stress. And by the way, this stress is resistance, and it's imposing. They're willingly imposing the stress on themselves, but they don't know what it takes to. I guess they don't have that element. It's not, and I try to be an empath in this regard, but I'm not, but I try to be, but I'm not really. It's like, I do the work, so I expect you to be able to do the work. So, but here's the common denominator here with people that are, I'm just going to, for purposes of the convo, I'm going to say like you and I, people that understand hard work and work ethic in the gym, it's because they genuinely like it.
Yes.
But if you genuinely do not like working out, but you just want what comes from it, i.e. strength, body composition, etc., then it's still going to be hard to attain it. Oh, yeah. Because you'll find any little thing to say to excuse you from the workout. You want out.
Yeah.
You don't like, look, I can't operate that way with fitness because I really do like it. Do I love it? I don't know. But I like it a lot. Like, I don't know that I would say I love it, but it's something that I would do if I were sick. I would do if I had a broke fucking knee. I would do it. I'd have to be bedridden or dead to not do it. By that definition, does that make me love it? I don't know. I guess. But
obsession.
Exactly. It's an obsession at this point. It's something that I'm going to have for the rest of my life to some degree, in some facet. I'm going to work out. I'll probably get to the point where I'm too old to do much of anything but full body workouts 3 times a week that last maybe 45 minutes or so, resistance trained or resistance oriented, you know, and then I'll eat more of a Mediterranean type style diet. Just be lean and fucking, that's it. Right. You know, just healthy, lean, whatever, good blood markers, etc. But now it's like, I don't want that. I don't care to be healthy. I want to have a certain look. But that's the thing that drives it. I also like it, and I'm obsessed with it. So these things are in tandem. The reasons why I always show up every day. It's unless it's a scheduled day off, and there is no reason why I would take a day off.
Right.
But I don't really like being like that. But I do like it because it does. It's a love-hate relationship, because it shows me actually how disciplined I am even when I don't want to be, because I don't want to be this way a lot of the time.
Sometimes you feel like you want to pull back a bit.
I always want to pull back.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this disciplined because it's not a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really amount to much in the time that you're doing it. But what you're not knowing is you're working on the things that are going to happen in your future. But because you're this way now, even though you're feeling like shit now, It's not going to be this way in the future. You're lining up things right now for your future. You just can't see what they look like. And I'm not trying to be nebulous here with regards to what this picture is, what it looks like for you to, what your future is going to be. I'm not some fucking fortune teller. I'm just saying that I don't think that you could put in this type of work and this type of dedication to something and it not amount to nothing.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for everybody out there. You can't put in this type of work, this type of dedication into something and it turn into nothing.
Yeah.
That's like impossible. What would happen before that is you die. That would happen before this turning into nothing.
Right.
It's going to turn into something. You just got to be fucking patient and keep putting your days in. Keep putting the checks on the board every single day and keep laying bricks. Before you know it, you're going to have a wall. But right now, you can see over that little thin line of bricks you lay because you won't fucking lay anything yet.
Right, yeah.
But you need to be on that streak, man. And the only way to get on that streak is to be in movement towards whatever focus, aim, streak you want to be on, right? So you're going to obviously materialize whatever you put focus into.
Right.
Period. If I didn't put focus into fitness and I put the same focus into business and being this, I don't know, whatever business I wanted to go into that I'm not into with fitness, if I was to do that,
you would succeed.
I'd be a fucking monster.
Absolutely.
I'd be a fucking monster. And I say that with certainty and confidence because of what I can do and what I've done in fitness.
What you've achieved already, yeah.
Man, it's like, and the bad thing about fitness is to be a great competitive bodybuilder, you have to have genetics on your side. Well, I don't have the best of genetics. So even if I was to do gear, I wouldn't be the best bodybuilder. I'd just be in a wash of multiple good bodybuilders.
Right.
But that's not good enough for me. I want to stand out. We build ourselves to stand out to some degree. Yeah. That's what we want. That's our focus, is not just the focus at hand with developing ourselves in this particular pursuit, but wanting to be unique in the process.
Right.
And as the end result, we want to be unique. So I knew I wouldn't be unique in terms of being a big, robust bodybuilder.
Just being a pool.
Just
of
being
the
a pool
same
of all
faces.
the same people, right? Same looking chest, shoulders, arms, legs to some degree.
Right.
Whatever. That's not good enough, man. And I don't want to put my body through the rigmarole of what that looks like health-wise. So that's why I omitted that from the situation, or from rather my desires. But if I were to put the same type of tenacity that I do in fitness and the same type of focus into fitness as I do in fitness into something else, like building a brand or a business, fucking monster. Because all that time I've allocated into being that in fitness, and to doing and being disciplined, and not just the time, it's the component of discipline and doing things I don't want to do for purposes of the pursuit.
Right.
That would make me into a monster. And that's something that bodybuilding has uncovered for me. And for that, I'm grateful.
Well, what do you think as far as, because you are a business owner, you actually are an entrepreneur, right? Yeah, you have your own location as far as your physical fitness and studio and stuff like that. Do you feel like it translates over into that as far as business-wise? Because I would say you're, pretty successful, right? I mean, you're not too bad.
Owning a personal training business is easy compared to doing what it takes to be a bodybuilder.
Is it really?
It's easy.
Yeah. Because
I've set it up to where I can run my business from Tennessee. I can run it from Hawaii if I wanted to. I've set up the model to where I can run it. I can make an exit and I can run it from anywhere in the world. And it's operable in that way in regards to other personal trainers that are facilitating in the studio, from everything from under the umbrella of payments, scheduling, all the automated emails that we send out, etc. Like I have an admin that takes care of things that I don't take care of, that are for purposes of computer, administration rather.
Right.
And it's taken a while to get it to that point, but that's nothing compared to building yourself in terms of a physique and then competing and doing everything it takes to be competitive and win. Yeah. It's not the same. It's easier to build a business. So when it's easier to build, and by the way, I can do this. I'm not tooting my horn at all. I'm just saying something factual here. I could do this same business model anywhere in the world. I could replicate it 2, 3, 400 times if I wanted to. Because I already know the components, the nuts and the bolts of this one, which only took me, 4 years to develop. That's nothing in the sprint of what it takes to become a better version of yourself through the art of training and being consistent with that, with those efforts. So I would argue that owning a business, well, at least the business that I'm in, is easy compared to bodybuilding. And if it weren't for bodybuilding, yes, I may not have been so vivacious in terms of, developing something with fitness or the business. But perhaps I would be, because I had a business when I was 16 in high school.
Was that the
selling? I did. I installed lifts. Selling lift kits, installing lift kits. Selling wheels, tires, etc., accessories. I built trucks in terms of like people would come to me with X amount of dollars, and I would build their truck based on what they had. In terms of like the lift kit, wheels, tires, accessories, what I thought would look good. The image of the truck that they wanted to exude, etc.
I assume you had that same sort of passion pursuing that,
right,
as you did with bodybuilding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
but then the passion carried over into applicable work when it came to building the studio and building the business. But I'd still argue that was nothing in comparison or juxtaposition to competition, man.
Yeah.
Because mentally, you're fucked when you're competing. And you're 4 weeks out of a contest and you're depleted on multiple levels. And you know this from wrestling.
Yeah.
You're not mentally. So when you can do the things when you're depleted that are innately tied to your ability to develop express discipline towards whatever that is, and you're not mentally all there, that's real fucking mental strength. When you can do those things when your better half is telling you don't.
Check out,
man. So, yeah, man, if I'm on all cylinders, I can do anything.
Yeah.
Or not anything, but, I can do a lot of things when I'm riding on all cylinders. When I'm only riding on 1 or 2 cylinders and I need to do the same things with the same type of tenacity as 8 cylinders, that's a different monster. That's a different person.
Oh, yeah.
But you only uncover if you have that person by what? Engaging in the threat, engaging in the pursuits.
Right.
Or else you don't know what you're made of.
I think that's why. Well, I mean, I think you agree. That's why struggle is important, right?
Yeah, man. That's why I sometimes think, as weird as it sounds, I wish I had more struggle. But then again, that's a really broad or bold thing to say. I should say that's a bold thing to address or even convey. Like, I want more struggle, but because nobody wants struggle.
Hell no, man.
Nobody wants struggle.
I don't want no struggle. I want no problems.
So the best thing that I can do is do things that are sort of analogous to a struggle for me that gets me away from feeling like I'm too cushy.
I think it's good you recognize that. But I also think you're kind of hard on yourself, man. I don't think you should be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But the only reason why I feel like and I'm not saying I'm anything, but if I'm anything of any kind of anything, it's only been because I am constantly grading myself. And I am, by extension, hard on myself. But that's only because I don't know anything different. And you and I, the only thing we differ, I think, is this. And maybe we don't differ in this. I'm going to go on a ledge and think we possibly differ from this. But I don't need self-love. Because the love that I have is anchored in my competency. And whatever I've done is whatever I've done, and whatever I've got a picture of whatever I've done that showcases itself in real time, and whatever I think I could do based on other things that I've done, but yet not yet had the opportunity to do them. that still is instantiating the element of competency.
So are you like, because I think self-love is important. Like
but self-love comes from your ability to understand that you're confident in said things. You're confident. You're able to be the man that you know you could be. Mm-hmm. Right. So I mean, that's a form of self-love. I mean, but that's I guess where I get it from. I'm not about the whole love yourself. Yeah. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'm about you need to prove to yourself.
That's good.
Prove to yourself. It's because every one of us is worthy because we're a human being. Yeah. That goes without saying.
Absolutely.
But prove to yourself that you are competent at doing something that you can contribute to others with that would maybe make them better. Whatever that is.
Right.
That could be a multitude of things. And that's all levied on what you have an innate urgency towards doing, right? What you feel like direct affinity with. And that could be different, man. That could be cooking. That could be your ability to teach people something, whether it be any kind of, political science or, whatever, math, whatever. Or that could be your ability to speak. Or that could be your ability to build something. Maybe you're a really great engineer and you can build something with not only your mind, but with your hands as well.
Right. Yeah.
But every man is going to be a little bit different. Every woman's going to be a little bit different. But I think it's your ability to prove to yourself what you're made of. And that's going to have a direct impact on whether or not you feel competent or not.
Right.
And then that's going to have a direct impact on your confidence levels.
Absolutely. So going on that, fuck, dude, I feel like such a Debbie Downer. Okay. So for people who are listening, I feel like a lot of depressive shit that I'm spewing out, but I hope that you guys understand that I'm only spewing it because I want it to reach somebody who may be in the same situation that I'm in, but maybe missing one piece of the puzzle. Maybe I have one piece of the puzzle that they don't have, that if they did have, it would give them all the confidence and hope in the world. So, proving to yourself. We talked about this a little bit briefly, but I said I want to say it for the podcast. When you're asking me, where do you stay? I stay in Grover Beach. But since me and my wife have separated, I've been living out of my car. So, I'm kind of like part-time homeless in a sense. Shit, I forgot where I was going with this. But proving to yourself. So part-time homeless in a sense, and this isn't the first time I've been homeless. I've been homeless once before this, and a buddy of mine at the time was like, Jay, don't be so prideful that you can't go home. Because my mom, she stays in Saturn Rip. For anybody who's listening who knows me, don't tell my mama that I'm living in my car. You break my mama's heart, I break your legs. Because the first time it was like maybe 4 or 5 months, whatever, 6 months, I was living in my car, and a buddy was like, Jay, don't be so prideful that you can't go home. I didn't really know what that meant, but I was like, fuck, dude, like I'm tired of struggling like this. I'm going to go home. Went home, stacked up enough money, got out again. Flash forward to today, the separation with my ex-wife. So, no long story short, right? Okay. So, so we were separated, but we both live, check to check like most Americans, and we struggle with money trying to pay the bills. But for a year, we were both, still living in the same apartment with our kids, but our schedules were always opposite. We wouldn't see each other when I'd come home, or when she'd come home, I'd be going to sleep because I start work super early in the morning, and vice versa, whatever. And so, she would be sleeping in the room, or I'd be on the couch, or I'd be in the room and she'd be on the couch. And, kids aren't stupid. They see all this shit that's playing out, and you know what I mean? Eventually they're like, why is mom and dad sleeping in this room? And so eventually something had to give. So she's the mother. She's a great mom. Like I said before, she's an awesome mom. I have nothing bad ever to say about her. And this is the man thing. Like, I was like, okay, you stay with the kids, you know, I'll go. Because we're tired of walking around on eggshells. So, yeah. So I've been out living in my car for, at this point now, maybe 5 months. And it's not a prideful thing. Because, like, I started thinking, because I had a cousin come up from Long Beach visit me recently. And he was just like, you know, I hadn't seen him in a minute. So he's like, Jay, how you been? You know, I just kind of tell him, like, you know, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. He dropped a brick of cash on me. He's like, I want you to have this. And as much as I wanted to take it, I knew that if I took it, I'd be doing myself a disservice. Because, like you said, it's like you need to prove to yourself that you can stand alone. And it's not because, like, it's not a prideful thing because I wanted to take the money, but I've already done that where I've gone home and, you know what I mean, I stayed there and all that shit, and I'm back here now. So I don't know if it's God or if it's the universe telling me, like, listen, like, it's gonna be rough a little bit, but I promise you what I have planned for you on the other side is gonna be so much better than you fucking probably even are even imagining in your head right now. Like, I have something really special for you lined up, but I need you to go through this suck right now. It's gonna suck, but I promise you're gonna be better for it. So my biggest thing is I want somebody out there listening to know that it's gonna suck, but it has to. That's the only way you fucking get better is pushing through the shit times, you know what I mean? Because you find out what you're really made of. You know what I mean? Like, hard times will show you where you're weak, show you where you're strong, and show you where you need to improve. Like, so sorry, I kind of went on a tangent, but
no, it's good, man.
But yeah, believe me, because, like, even though I'm living out of my car, even though my wife and I are separated, this is the happiest, like, truly the happiest I've been in fucking years. Is this where I thought I would be when I found happiness? No, I thought I'd have my own spot by now and fucking, you know what I mean? My kids' bedroom all nice and decked out and all this other shit. But fuck, I'm happy, so I'll take it. I'm not complaining because I forgot what it was like to be happy. Like, I'm at peace. Like, me and my ex-wife, we have, just because we're familiar with each other, we can tend to step on each other's toes and shit like that. And not because we intentionally mean to, just we're familiar. And you know what I mean? Out of habit. But I know we both mean well. We're both trying to be co-parent and all this other good shit. But, like, I'm so happy. Like, I've never been at peace. And I think that says a lot, that you can be in a fucked up situation and still find peace. And peace is important, like, over material shit, over everything, over fucking money. Like if I could, I'd be a fucking hippie, like, no shoes, walking in the woods, and just, I'd be like McDodge. I don't know if you ever saw that show, McDodge. Mm-hmm. Some cat that lives out in Oregon in the woods, and they do all this, like, trading amongst other people who also live in the wood, just, like, off the grid. Like to me, that's paradise. Like, just living off the land, not needing shit.
You know, you bring up the component of peace, mm-hmm. and it's very important to men to have peace in their life. And I think that, look, for all the women listening, I'm going to give them a bit of advice. Mm-hmm. You can't heal your man. You can give him peace, mm-hmm. which as a byproduct will end up healing his current circumstance or whatever he's dealing with. If you provide peace to the household, that's doing a lot for the man. That's far better than you lining up a therapy session for him. Yeah. I'm not saying making, I was going to say making food, but that could be good because that's kind of a peaceful orientation as well.
Because if a woman makes you food, if she loves you, she's going to put love in the food. You can, when food tastes like shit, probably because motherfucker didn't give a fuck about what he was cooking, just trying to flip it and get it out to you as quick as possible. But when someone like your mama, your grandma, your girl, whatever, actually cooks you food, you can't tell me that shit doesn't always taste better than, anything else. Like, there's love put in it. Like, and you absorb it. You absorb the love. You know what I mean? So,
so that by extension is going to give you peace.
Exactly.
The peace is a very important element to not discount and obviously not dismiss that if more women gave their men peace, this is not obviously, a PSA to give your man peace. I'm just saying that, that is what all men search for. They search for peace. I mean, I think it's a prime example of the whole what's that saying rather, that money doesn't buy you happiness, but I mean, it does and it doesn't. It also can create demons for you.
It can.
If you're not careful with how you spend it and how you choose to distribute your time when you have said money. Because when you have a lot of money, you have a little bit more freedom.
Exactly. And financial freedom is always nice.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. And you have more choices as a result, right? Yeah. But you have to be very prudent with your choices. That's important. And I don't know. I really think that the peace aspect, like what you're speaking about is super important. And it goes to say that the money isn't going to be everything. It's the element of peace, because the way we're biologically wired, we can't help this. The way we're wired is to have to search for peace. Whereas, and it's like we're very simple as creatures, as men. We're very simple, man. We just want peace. We want sex. This is obviously for the woman. Right. And we want a sandwich. I mean, there's a joke behind that.
Maybe a
but
Pop-Tart.
that's really what it boils down to. There's really, really three things to keep a man happy. And obviously, if you have a fat ass, that's a plus.
Oh, yes.
But it's like
yes.
Those things are what we search for. We're very stupid, simple, rudimentary at the core.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a really heavy thing that you laid on people, that for your current circumstance,
Yeah, because like I said, it was not what I imagined, but when it comes, like, you got to take it, man, because you don't know when you might not be at peace again. And honestly, like, I'm thankful for the marriage I had, because though we, there were good times, obviously, but by the time marriage was over, there were a lot more bad times than good times, obviously. That's why we are no longer together. But I feel like that relationship was beneficial in a sense that it took away all the negativity, it took away all my anger, it took away all my jealousy, and it left me with nothing but love and empathy. And that's all I want to give to people now, is just love and empathy, because at the end of the day, that's everything. Like, that to me, that at least that's everything. And so in regards, I'm thankful to my ex for that. I hope that she doesn't carry that, like, because she, like I said, I feel like she took all the negative stress and all that, like, all that was gone when I released her and finally realized, like, this shit's not good for me. Look where the fuck I'm at. I'm in a mental institution. Like, this isn't good for me. Like, I need, something's got to give. I need to change. I need to do something for me, because I fucking buried myself to make sure everybody else was good. And it was just the sense of, like, I didn't want to do anything for myself because it felt selfish. But it's selfish to not do something for yourself. And I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up, honestly. And you gotta, like, as cliche as it is, you gotta put yourself first in order to make sure all the dominoes fall in line so that everybody's good. So I pray that she doesn't carry what I feel she removed from me on her, because I wouldn't want that for her. I want nothing but peace and love for her. But, like, I'm so full of love now, so full of empathy, so full of compassion. And, like, I just want to spread that. That's all I want to give now, because that's all I have to give. I have nothing else. I don't have a lot of money. Like I said, I live check to check. So all I have to give you is my love and my time.
That's going to have a compound effect, though, in the future. And again, what it goes back to us not understanding why we're going through these things, or not understanding where this is going to lead to. I firmly believe in my heart that people like yourself and people that are disciplined and people that are putting their time and their investment into something and believe something so profoundly like you do and really move through life in that way, they're not going to be wasted. You just don't understand what this is going to lead to.
Yeah.
But what you have, the ability, like your thought process, your mind, just the way that your composure, everything, man, what you've been through, the way that you distribute now with your words and what you want to give to people, that's something that more of this world needs. And I don't say that to be cliche. I say that with just the utmost veracity. More of the world needs people like you. And for that reason, if this world doesn't end, meaning we don't have this catastrophic event take place where it kills all of us off, and you don't die, something is going to happen for you. And it's not going to happen, not little shit, something big, because people like you need to be in the forefront, because there are many people that are under you. And I don't mean like they're not below you, but they're going to be able to be witnesses by what you say in terms of your testimony. What you have to give and distribute to others is of the utmost utility and value. And it's being created right now for one day, for a very long duration of days, to be able to distribute or contribute rather to others to make them better. You won't go wasted, my friend. It won't happen unless this world ends and all of us die, or God forbid you die. That's not going to happen though, because you have a plan to carry out. God has a plan for you to carry out, clearly.
Absolutely.
Or else you'd have been gone a long time ago, bro.
I wouldn't be here now.
So this is obviously evidence that there's something for you. And not just something like, oh, there's a tree under the tree. There's a Christmas present under the Christmas tree. Not something small like that and just nothing. It's going to be something major, because someone like you can't be wasted, man. And that's what I really firmly believe in my fucking heart. And that's, yes, it's my heart speaking, but it's also something that is seemingly intuitive as well, because when I interfaced with you, when I did in the very beginning, there was something that I felt. I can't define whatever the fuck that was, but there was something that called me to say, have a conversation with him on the podcast, not just right now at the gym,
right?
On the podcast. And I thought, well, I liked our small communication we had. And because he's a fighter, I know that there's a story behind it. Because, again, people don't go into fighting just for a sport.
That's a poor man's
typically
sport.
A reason, yeah, right?
Come from the gutter.
So there's got to be something to him. And I could have easily just said, hey, let's have coffee one day. And you would have obviously taken me up on the offer. You're a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
But there was something that was urging me to put you on the podcast, because that is what I firmly believe is not just for me or for you, but it's for other people that are listening. They're going to find refuge in the words that you're speaking. And you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen from all of this. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. We don't know. But the point is, someone like you with the kind of merits that you have are not going to go wasted. That would be a travesty for someone like you to go wasted, man. And I don't say that so you can give me a pat on my back and thanks, Justin, man. I really appreciate that. I'm not looking for any of that shit. I'm telling you the fucking truth, or at least the truth in how I see it. And that's one man's depiction, true. But it's just one man's depiction. It's one man's depiction of how he sees the person sitting across from him. And that person, he just barely knows.
I appreciate that, man. I do a lot. Like, I know you're not looking for pats, but that really does mean a lot. Just because, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half of the time. So, yeah, man. That's just like, shit. My biggest takeaway would be that, just that fucking, like, you can make it, man. Like, I promise. Like, it's like that saying in, I don't know if I'm sure everyone's seen. It's one of my favorite quotes. Is like in a movie, the Dark Knight, the Batman, where he says, "The night is darkest just before the dawn, but I promise you, the dawn is coming." Like, you just gotta hold on a little bit longer, man. Like, it is coming. But I've never thought of myself in a sense that way. Like, you know, going unwasted. So that's pretty dope, man. To look at it, I've never looked at it that way, and I hope not, because why the fuck are we even here then, if not to make a difference in other people's lives?
Yeah, man, and you have the ability, you have the construction to make an effect on people. You have the construction to have an effect on people in multiple ways. So you're not going to go unwasted. It's just a matter of time. But you have to understand that those are not inspirational words. I'm not meaning to be inspirational or motivational. I don't think you need a pep talk.
Right.
I'm telling you this because that's just innately whatever gut I have is telling me, and whatever brain I have is telling me, and whatever heart I have is telling me to say. Mm-hmm. So take with that what you want, man. But that is my truth. Not my truth, but that is what I'm thinking as I'm conversing with you.
Right.
That's what I felt when I conversed with you the very first time. Like, not to this extent, obviously, but now knowing more about you, that's how it's unfolding.
And I was hesitant to tell, like, should I say this? Should I say that? But like you said, you want everything to be organically how it comes out. And sometimes I feel like the shitty situations we go through are not necessarily meant for us. They're meant to be told because somebody else might need to hear it. So the shit that I've gone through, like, I'm appreciative of it. I have a lot of gratitude because of how I've grown and what I've learned. But maybe some of these stories that I'm telling you guys isn't just a story. It's to give you hope. It's to let you know, like, what I went through was to tell you, to let you know that you can make it. Like, you're gonna be all right. Like, shit sucks. Yeah, I know. Fuck, that's life, dude. Fall down, get yourself back up. Fall down, get up again. Just keep getting up. If you can stand, if you can breathe, if you can walk, then you can fight. If you can do all those things, don't tell me you can't fight, because you're up. If you quit on yourself, that's a whole different story. But don't expect no pity party, though, because you ain't gonna get that shit from me.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Let's end it there.
Yeah. All right.
Jason, tell people where they can find you, bro.
So my IG is JasonQuinn58, and that's pretty much it.
Are there any underscores with that?
No, just straight across the board. JasonQuinn58, and yeah, that's where you can find me, man.
Well, I just want to tell you, man, it was a pleasure and it was an honor speaking with you, man. I'm just so glad that. And you know, the funny thing is that I knew going into this that this was going to be a good conversation. I just had a fucking feeling, man. And that feeling was only stemmed from our small interaction at the gym. But there are those people in life that you just have a natural connection to, dude. Yeah. And you're one of those people for me. So again, I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting me on.
All right, guys. Done. Oh, man. That was good shit.
Was that good?
Oh, come on. I'm not lying, bro.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
What we got in the can? An hour?
Dude, are you kidding me? Almost 2 hours.
Are you shitting me? Damn, that was fast. Oh, man.